Scratch that. Let's talk about somebody who hasn't moved into BPM yet. So regardless of BPM, mobile BPM, they're starting to think about this, but you know, they're not there yet, but they're kicking the tires. What would you give them as the first three things to be mindful of and think about as they prepare to make this commitment?
Right. I think the first thing to be mindful of is to align what you're doing with BPM with your corporate objectives, right? To make sure the people running your BPM initiative understand what your corporate objectives are, because if you start doing things that aren't really in alignment with corporate objectives, you lose traction. So you're running cross current.
The subcurrent there is business and technology people need to be
they need
talking
to be aligned
to one another before we go down this road.
That's right.
To get the most out of it. Okay, that makes sense. Number two.
Yeah, and the second thing is to really think hard and try to make it happen to co-locate the IT and business people involved in the project. Put them in the same floor, the same room, you know, but have them working together closely so that you get an interesting thing that comes out of that, right? The IT people will really start to care about the business outcomes if they don't already, because they're interacting with these people every day. You go to lunch together, you know, and you talk about why you're doing these things, right? Why are we implementing this feature versus that feature, or why are we tackling this part of the process when I know there are other parts? As an IT person, I know there are other parts of the process. Why aren't we tackling those? And we can have that business value discussion.
Yeah.
I think that's a key thing. And I think the third thing is, you know, really make sure you tackle something important. You know, I feel like too many customers do well, let's try something easy that has zero risk. And that's tempting, right? Because you think, well, we'll learn something out of it. But you have to remember that—
But you're not getting the value, right?
Right. You have to remember that businesses have two things that are in some scarcity, right? One is cash, but the bigger one is focus.
That's true. That's really true. That's probably more scarce than the money thing.
No, absolutely. And you know, and so you may have budget, but if you don't have focus and you spend that precious focus on something that doesn't matter to your business,
so they're going to move on.
Yeah, they'll forget about you, right? And they'll say, well, you know, sure, that was a cute pet project.
Really good advice.
But we have real problems to focus on, right? And so the team that gets all the learning may not get then the support to go forward and tackle bigger projects. So we always recommend looking for that, you know, that special blend of, you know, a really important project that also has the right risk profile, right? You don't want to take on something that's so high risk in the first time around. And you want to take steps to mitigate risk, like bringing a partner that really knows what they're doing so that not all of the risk is on the backs of, you know, people who are new to BPM.
Yeah.